I have a very deep passion for East West Studios, and it's not just because I started here, but it certainly doesn't hurt that my career began here almost 15 years ago inside this building. I was just a fresh kid right out of a tech school, and I barely knew anything about recording, but I managed to come to, out of just blind luck, one of the best studios in the world. And it was that first 3 years of my career that I spent working under some of the best engineers in the entire world. People like Bill Bottrell, people like Robert Carranza and Ed Cherney and Jim Scott. People who enforced in me what I think is now the most important part of the music industry, which is the recording. East West has been the home of legendary records. And there's this really great book called Temples of Sound where Quincy Jones has the foreword, and he talks about the energy left behind after a studio session. The way that after an artist leaves exhausted and exasperated and defeated or triumphant, and the energy that they put out into the room, it stays there. And every single person that comes along gets a little bit of that energy. For me, I feel that whenever I'm in this room. And not only that, I can feel the difference between the energy in each room. For example, to me, Studio 3 has a very welcoming family feel. Studio 1 has a big production feel to me. And Studio 2 feels like rock and roll whenever I'm in there. And I don't know why that is. It could just be my close personal association with those studios, or it could be that I'm actually feeling the energy of Audioslave or Green Day recording in Studio 2, or Pet Sounds and Beach Boys being recorded in Studio 3, or even Frank Sinatra in Studio 1. Whatever it is a very real thing to me. And I'm not much of a God person or any supernatural situations, but I can feel the energy in these different rooms, and it transfers into every project that I work on in East West. Now, it has a crazy history, and it's inside of that history that we find some of the coolest things that have been done in the music world. For example, before this was a studio, it was a gambling hall, it was a brothel, it was a grocery store, it was everything before it became a music studio. In the early 60s, Frank Sinatra requested his favorite engineer and the person who most of us consider to be the godfather of all engineering, Bill Putnam, to leave his Chicago recording studio and come out to Los Angeles and build what became, to me, one of the most important studios that has ever been created. Bill Putnam, like myself, was somebody who found the beauty in its natural state. These rooms mostly existed the way that they were. He just rebuilt them to be more custom to what he needed to hear from his own recordings. And you can see that in the way that these rooms were built. Studio 3 is a small, personal, private, kind of intimate setting. Studio 2 is a larger band type of room. And Studio 1 was what he created for his artist, Frank Sinatra, to use his big, giant productions inside of. I saw some really great footage of Bill Putnam when he was building this building, and the way that he was putting it all together, he was such a minimalist while being a perfectionist about very strange things. There's all sorts of unique hiding spaces and special things about this building that exist in no other building in the world. Specifically, things like the echo chambers that Bill Putnam created for his studio alone that became so popular that other studios around town would send signals via telephone lines to this studio to use the echo chambers. There's so many cool and unique things about this studio, and I'm going to spend a little bit of a series here talking about all of those things and why I love this studio so much. And I hope that it transfers to other people to see how important this studio is and how much it has influenced the shape of music itself, from the way that reverb exists now in the modern era to the modern artists that still record here today. People like Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, Ariana Grande, fucking everybody. Frank Ocean, Doechii, Billie Eilish, literally almost anybody that you can think of as being at the top of the charts has probably recorded here in one of these studios at East West. So join me on this little series as I walk through all of the really cool, unique things about East West, and I hope that, again, it ingrains in you the same love for this building that I have, because it's built my career as a Grammy-winning engineer and producer to be inside of this building. In fact, my Grammy came from working with Killer Mike in this very building. So stick with us. Make sure you follow East West on all social media and follow and subscribe if you're not already for me, Breezy Will.